The radical Democrats are looking to literally destroy our country. And sometimes you wonder, think of it, open borders, people coming in from prisons, from jails. There's a slight difference. Do you know what the difference between a prison and a jail is? Not enough to talk about. Let's put it this way. Not enough to talk about, but they're coming in from prisons and jails. They're coming in from mental institutions and insane asylums. Insane asylum, that's a step beyond. That's Silence of the Lambs. That's Hannibal Lecter. Did you ever hear of Hannibal Lecter? They're being dropped into our country. Hannibal Lecter is coming in, lots of them. They're closing up insane asylums all over the world, not just in South America. They're closing them up all over the world, in Africa, in Asia, in Europe, in the Middle East. We're bombing Yemen. We have a guy who's in charge of our war. I read about it today. He's using a laptop from his hospital bed. They couldn't find him, Secretary of Defense. And he's running the war with a laptop like a child would do, you know, like a child plays with a laptop. And these are the same people that ran Afghanistan into the ground. You know, I was taking everybody out of Afghanistan, but we're doing it with strength, and we're doing it with dignity. We were coming out, and they were afraid of us, and they weren't doing anything. I spoke to Abdul, you know Abdul, the leader of the Taliban, and we had a rough conversation. And after that conversation, not one American soldier was killed for 18 months, and then you had that disaster by Biden where they took the military out first. No, you take the military out last. You get your people out first. You get your equipment out, and then you come out. But they took the military out first. We have those same people telling us about wars in the Middle East. You don't need wars because, you know, we built the strongest military in the world. We defeated, as you know, ISIS, 100% of the caliphate. Soleimani gone, al-Baghdadi gone, all of the big terrorists gone. We created a safe nation. We didn't have one terrorist attack in 4 years. I never said that during my 4 years because I say, I don't want to have it, and then the next day we have an attack. But we didn't have one terrorist attack. Iran was broke. I told China, I told all of the countries, anybody that does business with Iran buying oil, because they are really the purveyor of cash, but the purveyor of terror. They would give billions and billions of dollars out to Hamas, to Hezbollah, billions and billions. I say, anybody that does business with Iran, you're not doing business with the United States. Plus, we're going to put a tariff of 100% on all your goods that you send in. And everybody, including China, said, well, I guess we're not doing business with them. And they were broke. A congressman, well-known Democrat congressman, 2 weeks ago was on, I believe it was Deface the Nation. Did anybody ever hear of Deface? Ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump on Deface the Nation. It is Deface today because they're dishonest, so they deface the nation, right? And or meet the fake press. But they were on Deface the Nation, and he said, you know, whether we like it or not, Iran was broke. They were broke. He used that term under the Trump administration. They couldn't do anything. They had no money. They had to survive. And we would have made it possible for them. All I wanted them to do is not have a nuclear weapon. Now they're 38 days away from having a nuclear weapon, and these guys don't know what to do because they're incompetent. Our leaders are incompetent. They're incompetent fools. They're 38 days away, they say, from having a nuclear weapon. Once they have a nuclear weapon, negotiation is going to be a whole different thing. I was able to do a great job with Kim Jong-un. You might have heard of him. I used to call him Little Rocket Man, but he became somebody that we actually got along with very well. He'd love to see me back. We had a very good relationship. When the press hears I have a relationship with Kim Jong-un or any of them, they say, that's terrible. No, it's not terrible. It's called smart. You have a relationship. You would have had a nuclear war if Hillary Clinton got it. You know? You would have had a nuclear war if Hillary Clinton got in. But we're going to turn it around. We're going to turn it around fast. You don't have to get into these wars. Look at what's happened in Ukraine. The place has been decimated. Many more people are killed than you read about. You know, they'll knock down an apartment. You see the size of those buildings? They're long. They're like 3 blocks long. They'll knock it down. They'll say 2 people were injured slightly. No. Many people were killed. The real numbers will come out, and you're going to see many more people are killed in Ukraine than anybody thought even possible. The numbers are massive. And the cities are just being flattened. They're being leveled. Buildings, you know, it's their culture. The magnificent golden towers going up that are 1,000 years old and all this stuff is just being leveled to the ground. It's so sad to see. This never would have happened if I were the president, and everybody knows it. And it didn't happen, you know. People say, well, how do we know? Well, it didn't happen. For 4 years, it didn't happen. And Putin and I got along very well. It would have never, ever happened. I talked about it. That was the apple of his eye. There's no question about it. I said, don't do it, Vladimir. Don't do it. We had some good talks, I will tell you. But he wouldn't have done it. And likewise, they would have never done the attack on Israel because they didn't have the money to do it. And they knew that there would have been a very big attack back. And it would have never happened. What they did on October 7th, what they did was unthinkable, so horrible. But it would have never happened. All of these things would have never happened. Inflation would have never happened because oil caused inflation. Energy caused inflation. Energy is so big. If you make donuts, you need it for the stoves, for the trucks, you need it to distribute. Every business, there's not a business that doesn't need energy, and most of the energy is oil. And what they did with the oil was so bad. It's just so bad, and that caused the inflation. Now it's you look at the price as an example of bacon, up 5 times. What does 5 times mean? I looked at it the other day, but our food prices are up 45 and 50%. Our energy's up 50%. Everything's up to a level that even if you were doing well, you're losing. You're way, way behind the 8 ball. Well, we're going to all bring it back for you. It's not going to be complicated, and it's going to go very fast.